And so here's what I want to do, and here's how I want to connect these verses to your life today. When the dogs are winning in your life, identify why. And the first reason why does discouragement dominate? The first reason why is critics. Critics. Do you see that in verses 1, 2, and 3? Sanballat was displeased when he heard that Nehemiah had returned to Jerusalem, and that displeasure soon turned to anger, and his anger led to criticism and scorn. And then in verse 3, Tobiah the Ammonite ridicules the Jews. He says, why they're so inept at building a wall that even if a fox, which doesn't weigh very much obviously, even if a fox jumped on that wall, that fox would break down the wall would collapse. Criticism, anger, scorn, mocking, ridicule. Why? Because God was doing something. God was at work. God was up to something. And the weapons of the enemy are criticism and ridicule and mocking. It's the same thing in your life. The same is true in your life. What are you building today? What are you trying to rebuild today? Discouragement is going to come if you listen to the critics. Your task is impossible. What's with this silly plan you have? You're not smart enough to do this. You don't have all the resources you need. Listen, whenever God puts a work in your heart and you start, in other words, you act in obedience, expect criticism and scorn and ridicule. That's the work of the enemy. Don't be fooled into thinking that you're not ever going to get any opposition when God has called you to do something. D.L. Moody said the devil never kicks a dead horse. You're doing a work for God. And God's being glorified. And where the will of God is being accomplished, the devil will go to work. Listen, you have gotten the attention of hell. They finally know you're alive and on the earth, down there in hell. Because you're doing something for God. Listen, Sanballat and Tobiah are going to show up in your life. And sometimes the criticism will come from those who are closest to you. Sometimes it'll come from your brothers and sisters in the Lord. Sometimes it'll come from your family members. And that hurts. You'll be called a fanatic. You'll be called a fool. What's wrong with you? Would you stop taking this Jesus stuff so seriously? You don't need to be extreme in following Jesus. I heard years ago the definition of a fanatic. You know the definition of a religious fanatic? Somebody who loves Jesus more than you do. That's what it is. Somebody that loves Jesus more than you do, takes it a little seriously than you do. You call them a fanatic. What are you getting so serious about this for? And discouragement dominates.